Welcome to Determined Women of Destiny, powered by Rude Rangers Entertainment. I am your host, Yvonne, the Motivator Man. This is the show that gives you the business, the good, the bad, and the beautiful of female entrepreneurship, providing business empowerment through inspirational motivation. My guest today has a business that we all need at one time or another if we're parents, and that is daycare. The name of her daycare is Creative Little Learners. It is a New York State licensed family daycare that provides care for children ages 6 weeks through 12 years of age. It was founded in 2018 and it strives to promote high quality childcare while allowing children to reach their developmental milestones in their own creative ways. I know all of you that are going to be in her catchment area is going to be running to Lisa Ortiz to take care of your children after that introduction. Welcome to the show, Lisa.
Thank you. Thank you for having me. It is such a pleasure to be on your show today.
Absolutely. I want you to talk about your daycare, where it's located, and just let us know what you provide the children that are associated with your childcare.
Okay, so I am in Nassau County. I'm actually located in Lakeview, the Rockville Center area. I service children not only in Malvern School District, but Malvern, Rockville Center, Lynbrook, those in the immediate area, and some actually that travel from the boroughs to come into Long Island for work. So I don't necessarily only limit myself to this particular area, but I'm here for anyone who actually is looking for a great childcare environment for their children and someone that's going to actually make sure that their child is in great hands, great care throughout the day so that they can go and work and function throughout the day without any questions about the safety of their child.
And that's the most important thing. I remember when my daughter was younger, having a person to be able to be with my daughter while I was working allowed me to have peace. And to my listeners, yes, she's located Long Island, New York. But if you are in Maryland, if you're in Washington, my folks in Toledo, Ohio, love you guys because y'all love me. Los Angeles, Union City, Alabama, and you have family on Long Island that's in this catchment area, you can refer her. And if you're having issues yourself as a child care provider, you can reach out to her. And we're going to talk about that a little bit later on in the show. So tell us some of the things that you work with your children, to reach those milestones developmentally.
So every child at different ages and they go through different stages. You may have an infant who's coming in and they've never separated from their mom before. So we work with them to learn how to feel comfortable in a new environment, in a new setting. Then you have children that are preparing for kindergarten. So we'll prepare them for kindergarten, making sure that they understand phonetic awareness. When you go into kindergarten now, it's no longer like, oh, we're going to teach you what your name is and how to spell your name. Now children go into kindergarten knowing how to write their name, knowing how to spell their name. So we're working on different things for every child at every level. We're working with toddlers, learning how to use the potty for the first time and making sure that they are getting out of those diapers, those costly diapers. We're also working with children to make sure that the school-age children, when they're coming in from school, they're getting their homework done. Do they understand their homework? Are they understanding their assignments? We're reaching children at whatever stage that they're at to make sure that they're accomplishing whatever goals that they're looking to work on at that time.
That is excellent because you help with homework. And that means when you pick your child up at 6 o'clock, you go home, you fix dinner, you overlook homework. You're not stressing over, but mommy, I don't understand at 8 o'clock at night. At 8 o'clock at night, they're in the bath.
Correct.
Because they've already done their homework. All you have to do is look it over to see what they have done so you can be informed of what's going on in their academic life.
Yes.
And that is great. And that potty training, oh my God, you know.
Potty training is challenging for a lot of parents, but sometimes you need somebody to come in and help with that has like a different passion and a different energy to come in. Hey, come on, potty, the potty's not scary. Let's go. Let's put that pee-pee in the potty. And they're going to move forward. And once they see their peers are doing it, they're going to be really excited about learning to use the potty on their own. So any way we can help a parent reach or help a child reach all of their milestones, we're willing to get in there, make sure that they're doing what they need to do, and provide them with the tools that they need. Because sometimes it's just a matter of, hey, I don't want to use the big toilet. I want a little potty, or some children prefer to just go on the regular toilet and just put a seat attachment on there. So we're working with children at whatever level we need to work with them on.
And your child care facility is within your house.
Yes.
So tell me a little bit about, how you provide your services within the home where you live yourself.
Okay, so my entire first floor is dedicated to childcare. So we have a room for toddlers to play around and their playroom. We have a room for the children to eat. Then we have a room for infants to sleep. And then we have another room dedicated for school-age children to come in and do their schoolwork. And then, of course, we have that also necessary backyard area with the playground equipment on there. They have a space to run and really be free and enjoy their outdoor space as well.
Now, how have you been able to balance, just having your own family in your own house, and then, you have this business in your house? So you said you dedicated your whole first floor. So that's a off zone limit to your kids, to you, to your husband. What do y'all do? Just walk around it and act like it's not there, or?
So our living quarters are upstairs on the second floor, and then we have repurposed our basement area into our family space. So now we have the pandemic has also kind of shifted that a little. So it's also now our family space and my son and husband's working space. So we've just had to be creative to make sure that we still have all of the things that we need within our home for us to be able to function within the home. And then at the same time, we have a business space that is dedicated to the business or to the childcare. As far as like balancing everything with the kids, my children, especially my daughter, she loves it because she's like, oh my gosh, there's so many different things to do here. What am I gonna do? She loves to come in. When she comes in from school, she loves to see the children. She'll sit, she'll talk with them. Oh, if they need help, if they're not feeling so great, oh, let's talk about this. So my daughter has found a way to incorporate herself right into this business.
You have to tell people the age of your daughter that says, oh, you're not feeling well, let's talk about this.
She's 5.
That's why I wanted them to know.
She is 5 years old, but she loves it. She says one day she's going to be a daycare provider just like me. So that it melts my heart at the same time, because I feel like I'm actually inspiring her to be a lot more nurturing and caring, and to really be attentive to the needs of others as well.
That's great.
So, yeah. And my son, the younger boys, they look up to him, and he comes down every once in a while. He tries to stay out of the daycare space completely, but every once in a while he'll come in like, oh, big boys can do this and big boys can do that, especially for the younger ones, because sometimes they just really need to see an older boy doing the things that they aspire to do.
So this is really a family affair, and that is great. When we come back from break, I want you to talk a little bit more about how your business really is a family affair, and some of the struggles that you're going through, and how COVID has been, a blessing or either a curse or a little bit of both. So we're going to break, and we'll be right back. Y'all make sure y'all come back. Go get you some iced tea and just come back. Y'all know this is entertaining. You don't want to miss none of it, especially if you're a child care provider.
Joseph A. Slinger-HASGILL Funeral Service, Inc., located at 155 Sunrise Highway, Amityville, New York, 631-842-2788. We service the Amityville and surrounding areas, shipping foreign and domestic with cremation services available. With every service being catered to your personal needs, we here at Slinger-HASGILL Funeral Service will treat your family like it's our family. Again, we are located at 155 Sunrise Highway, Amityville, Long Island, 631-842-2788, or visit us at SLINGER-HASGILL.com.
Welcome back. You're listening to Determined Women of Destiny on Rudy Radio. I'm your host, Yvonne the Motivator Man. My guest is Lisa Ortiz, and she is the owner of Creative Little Learners. It is childcare at its best. It's located in the Lakeview / Rockville Center / Malvern, Long Island area. And she's been chatting with us about, just having this daycare. And before we went to break, and I want you to know that break was sponsored by Slinger-HASGILL Funeral Home. But before break, she was talking about how this is a family affair. So Lisa, give us a little bit more how, all of you come together to make this work.
So definitely is a family affair. One of the things that we all have had to do is to make sure that we are mindful of our time management and making sure that everyone knows that they all play a part in making sure that this business is successful. My husband, I've been fortunate enough to have a husband who actually does graphic designing and photography. So he's always helping with anything related to whether it's classwork, if I need something designed really quickly, or if it's a flyer that needs to be put out, if I'm looking to advertise, my husband is always there for that. The kids, making sure that they get up early enough in the morning so that I can get my day started before the first child arrives. Making sure that we're always mindful of where we're placing things. Listen, don't plug anything into the outlet because I need to make sure that no child gets access to anything that could hurt them or harm them. So it's really just making sure that we're all mindful of everything that we're doing within the home to make sure that the childcare center is functioning, and it's functioning appropriately and really well. So that has been a blessing. My children have also been able to watch me work as a businesswoman, seeing how I am able to bring in new clients, working with staffing, and making sure that they're just seeing every side of it, even when it comes down to budgeting and making sure that we have the money to pay for things. So it really has been helpful having the business in my home, and it exposes my children to what a functioning business looks like.
That's great because especially in the community of color, I don't think we give our children enough knowledge and information about having their own business. Correct. I'm not saying anything against college. I want everybody to go to college if that's where you want to be. There are some kids that aren't college material, and trade school may be there, but we never say, hey, whether you're going to college or whether you're going to a trade school, whatever you're learning, you can take that and make that into a business and work for you, instead of saying, I'm going to work 20 years for someone else, I'm going to retire. Now, in the 20 years, you have children, you save money for their college education so they can work 20 years and retire. And they do the same thing. And my question always is, so when you retire, what are you going to do?
Yes. See, my parents both had a business when I was growing up. So I've always been around entrepreneurs. And my father would always tell me, even prior to me starting the daycare, he's like, Lisa, you'll never be happy until you actually own your own business. And he would often remind me of why he felt like I was such a good candidate to be an entrepreneur and to have my own business, and remind me of things that I would say when I was a child. Even as a young child, my father encouraged me to start my own business or try to, find different ways to make money. When I was younger, I loved to do hair, and then I transitioned into doing makeup. And my father would like, find clients and make sure you charge them, make sure that they pay you, make sure that they read book with you and stuff like that. So I've always had the desire to be an entrepreneur, and having exposure to it within the home made it even a little bit more easier for me to actually transition into being an entrepreneur as well. So I'm hopeful that, my children see this and say, hey, listen, my mom and my dad, they did it. So I know that I can do it as well. And they even take it a step further.
That's what we need to show our children. And I applaud you for doing that and being a great example of a female entrepreneur, for your daughter, and just a great businesswoman for both of your children. With COVID, when COVID hit, everything shut down and your kids had to be homeschooled. How did you juggle homeschooling and then, your business totally shut down in the beginning of COVID? How did you navigate through that?
So childcare is one of the few industries that never shut down completely. In-home childcares did not. Centers may have closed, but in-home family childcares never completely shut down. One of the beautiful things was that we were able to transition everyone into remote learning. So with my children, when they transitioned into remote learning, there were other children here, the school-age children, they were here as well doing their remote learning. So it just became, instead of it being, I guess, all about infants and toddlers and then school-age children in the afternoon, there was an increase of school-age children because the infants and toddlers, their parents were like, no, I'm going to keep my baby home. So we were really there to support all of the remote learners. And we still had some infants and toddlers, no infants, but toddlers that were here as well.
So how did you keep the mask on all those kids? You just running around, put your mask on, put your mask back on. No, you can't share a mask. Don't put that in your mouth. Put that mask, it goes over your nose. Stop playing with Johnny's mask. You were the mask police.
Listen, we all wear masks. And the crazy thing is, prior to the mask mandates going in place, I actually started wearing a mask right away because I was not certain. But I knew that I needed to be able to be there for the families that needed me. Right. So the only way that I could protect myself was to put a mask on. Mm-hmm. And then with the children, initially the state wasn't really sure how it affected children. Should they wear masks? Should they not wear masks? The older children definitely wore masks. Mm-hmm. So it's a little easier for the older children. With the toddlers, it is next to impossible to get them to understand, like, you have to leave this on for your own safety. Right. So we just, a lot of encouraging, no, put your mask back on, put your mask back on.
Put your mask back on.
Yeah. No, you're doing good. You want a sticker? I'll give you a sticker if you leave your mask on.
So it became a creative process to work with them. Yes. You get an extra snack, you keep that mask on.
Right. But so now the guidance is that children under the age of 5 do not have to wear them. It is suggested, but they do not have to wear it. Okay. So only school-age children really have to wear the mask, and that includes my children as well.
Okay.
So, yeah.
Well, we're going to go to break, and when we come back, you're going to discuss the issues that in-home childcare is going through right now, because all of the in-home childcare providers are looking at some real drastic changes coming up. And I want you to discuss that, and I want you to be able to give the other childcare providers that tune in, some resources and some guidelines and some help. So we're going to go to break, and this break is sponsored by Strategic Business Solutions, Margaruite Bynum, and Vera Moore Cosmetics. You guys know I love Miss Vera Moore, and I wear all of her makeup. So if you want to be more fabulous, you need to wear her makeup too. We'll be right back.
Margaruite Bynum here, CEO of Supreme Manage. We are your strategic marketing and small business consulting firm. As a small business consulting firm, we provide owners with resources, advice, and planning designed to improve your organization's performance and efficiency. We assist businesses by identifying problems, implementing solutions, and reaching your goals. If that sounds like something you need, feel free to contact us at Supreme Manage on Instagram, and we will get back to you right away. See you then.
Vera Moore Cosmetics and Skincare was formed to empower all women to feel great about themselves for more than just a moment. When it comes to a flawless complexion, skincare is the key. Vera Moore Cosmetics and Skincare is for women of all ages and skin tones. Be the more fabulous woman you were born to be.
Welcome back, and you guys know you're listening to Determined Women of Destiny. I'm your host, Yvonne, the Motivated Man, and my guest is Lisa Ortiz. And before we went to break, we were talking about all of the great things with childcare and in-house childcare. And now I want Lisa to inform all of you what our government is trying to put in place when it comes to in-home childcare. And you may be very, very shocked, especially those of you that have just had children and you're ready to go back to work, because we had a whole lot of COVID babies. There's a lot of babies named Corona. There's a whole lot of babies named Quarantine, okay? And there's a whole lot of babies named COVID. So here it is. You're going back to work, you're looking for a child care provider, you find one, and now the government wants to step in and put their evil fingers into something that they need to leave alone. So Lisa, tell us about, the future of, or the possible future of in-home child care.
Yeah, so right now, the government is looking to create, it's a beautiful thing that they want to provide childcare or free childcare for 3-year-olds, but what they're looking to do is actually pull them out of the in-home daycare settings, which would essentially cause the in-home daycare setting to crumble. One of the reasons why I went into an in-home setting initially is because as a parent myself, when I was considering where am I going to send my child, I wanted them to be in an in-home setting where it's smaller, they could be nurtured, there's not as many children there, you know who you're going to see on a daily basis. When that door opens, there's not 500 people, new faces every single day that are going to greet your children. So now with the government looking to pull 3-year-olds out of the in-home daycare setting and they're looking to actually put them in a school setting at 3 years old. Now, most people will be like, well, what's so bad about that? If you only have 1 and 2-year-olds or infants to 2-year-olds, in-home daycares can only provide care for 2 children per staff member. So that means we're not going to be able to keep our doors open. There's no way that an in-home daycare could survive with 2 children per every staff or employee. So it's disappointing because throughout the entire pandemic, as I said before, we've been open. We've never had to shut our doors. Some people did choose to close their doors because of personal reasons, but we were required to stay open the entire time. Not mandated, not required, but they had asked us to never close our doors and to never stop providing care for essential families. They created so many initiatives to provide funding for in-home daycares to stay open. And now that we've been able to stay open, they're going to essentially shut us down by pulling the 3-year-olds out of our program to put them in school settings.
Okay, let me get this straight. Okay, the world shut down because of COVID.
Yes.
But we have essential workers, that's doctors, nurses, anything in healthcare. Anybody that have clients that have need, because I know I work with the homeless, we never shut down. So all essential workers needed a place for their children to go.
Correct.
And they gave incentives to in-home childcare. And so now the world is opening back up. They want to take away what they gave you?
Yes.
Shame on you, USA, shame on you.
Yes. And the children come in, the parents become so familiar with them. We get them from infants learning how to crawl and then walk, use the potty, and then they're trying to pull them away. And when sometimes these children are not even ready They're not ready to go into such a structured setting where they come in, they hang up their coat, they sit down at a desk all day long. Some children are just not ready to leave the in-home setting to move on to an structured academic setting.
You know, you guys forgive me, but y'all know I'm militant as all get out. You used the in-home child care centers to carry you through the hard part while you set up a structure for after the hard time was over to remove these children out. You know, it's like, okay, we'll use you now, we'll give you everything that you need, but we're building something that you don't know about that will eventually possibly put you out of business. So what can we do? What can mothers and fathers do? What can Long Island do? What can Nassau County do? What can Suffolk County do? Because I'm quite sure, you know, this is across Long Island. What can we do to make sure that in-home child care does not get removed? That, you know, if you want your 3-year-old in school, knock yourself out. But if you still want your 3-year-old to stay in the setting that they're in, what can we do? Do we petition? Do we write letters? Do we call our assemblymen or, you know, our community leaders? How do we go forward with this?
Correct. You're going to contact anyone and everyone that has any type of hand in making any legislation go forward. Your local elected officials, your state elected officials, the governor, the mayor, the assemblywoman, the council. You want to reach out to anyone you possibly can. Your senators, especially the senators, because this is also going to be a federal thing as well. They're not looking to just do it in New York State. It's statewide. And then they're also looking to do it on a federal level. So you want to reach out to everyone and let them know, listen, we need our in-home daycares to remain open. How do you expect a mom to go to work if they have nowhere to send their child? How do you expect some fathers to go to work? Someone has to provide care. Not every grandparent is able to stop working to provide care for their child, for their grandchild. So there's not always a family member accessible or a trusted neighbor or friend who would be available to care for a child, an infant, a toddler. You want to make sure that these in-home daycares are able to remain open and their doors can open for your child, your children, your neighbor's child, your neighbor's children to be able to go to a trusted home setting so that they can go to work. If we don't have childcare, no one can really work. We can't raise up the next generation of workers in any fields, doctors, lawyers, teachers. You won't have someplace for your child to go if you do not, you won't have anywhere. You won't be able to go to work if you don't have someplace to send your child.
Who's the senator in your area?
In my area, we have Senator Kevin Thompson.
Okay. So if you're in the Malvern, Lakeview, Rockville Center, Hempstead, he's for Hempstead too, right? We want you to contact Senator who again?
Kevin Thompson.
We want you to contact Senator Kevin Thompson and let him know that we want him to stand on the side of all of the essential workers that want to have their children in home child care. Okay, you look and see who is in.
I'm sorry, I said Kevin Thompson. It's Kevin Thomas.
I'm sorry. Okay, Kevin Thomas. It's Kevin Thomas, y'all. You want to contact Kevin Thomas. And I'm going to refer you to Shaniqua 11 at Women's Diversity Network. And the government is definitely shaking now to hear her name, because this is a sister that is fighting really, really hard for women and women's businesses, and that, you know, our businesses aren't shut down and that the inequality is stopped within the business sector. So I'm referring you to her. I'm shouting her name out. I will definitely tag her to check out this show. And maybe the two of you guys can get together and work out a game plan. Lisa, I thank you so much for joining me tonight. I am Yvonne, the Motivator Man. You've been listening to Determined Women of Destiny. The show is sponsored by SLINGER-HASGILL Funeral Home, Strategic Business Solutions, and Vera Moore Cosmetics. My creative producer is Rudy J. Breedy, and my guest has been Lisa Ortiz, the CEO of Creative Little Learners. Lisa, tell us how we can contact you. I almost left the show without doing that. I'm sorry.
Thank you. I am on Facebook, and you can reach out to me on Creative Little Learners Inc. INC. You can find my page there, and I'm also on Instagram, Creative Little Learners Daycare. So you can reach out to me on either one of those sites or those social media platforms, and I'll be more than glad to respond to you.
Okay, great. So people, I'll close my show the same time, the same way. You keep doing what you're doing until what you're doing gets done. Peace and blessings. Peace and blessings.